Okay. There we go. This would be nice. Might actually want to zoom in. I'm actually just gonna move the tripod. I'll be sitting right there. Yeah. I should be good. I should be centered. We are going to be... Does my hair look okay? Okay. We need to be serious. I do that. Okay. Paragraph 1. Let's go. I'm just holding that up. George Orwell and Pink Floyd. Now, these are two unlikely crossovers, as one is an author from the 40s and the other is a psychedelic rock group from like the 70s. Now, these are two people with like completely different backgrounds. Fuck. Cut all of that. Cut. George Orwell and Pink Floyd. These are two... George Orwell and Pink Floyd. Now, these are two unlikely crossovers, as one is a dystopian author from the 40s, and the other is a psychedelic rock group from the 70s. Like I said, these are two completely different people with completely different backgrounds. But, without ever interacting with one another, these two managed to tell the same story. That was the first paragraph. It's time to go on to paragraph 2. I'm going to split this up. So we're just going to mainly go sentence by sentence. Orwell died in 1950. Fucking cut. Okay. Orwell died in 1950. But his literature lives on today. Now, my personal favorite book from him is 1984. And I recommend all of y'all read that. But a close contender would be his book, Animal Farm. Now, Animal Farm is a novel about the Russian Revolution of 1917. It focuses on the theme of propaganda, social class. Fuck. Okay. Animal Farm is about the Russian Revolution of 1917. Animal Farm is a novel about the Russian Revolution of 1917. It focuses on the themes of propaganda, social class, corruption, totalitarianism. No, I don't know. Animal Farm is a novel about the Russian... If these people don't stop in the hallways, I'm gonna go insane. Okay. Animal Farm is a novel about the Russian Revolution of 1917. It uses the themes of propaganda, corruption, social class, totalitarianism, and communism as major themes. It also uses animals as metaphors to create a political allegory against the Russians. It shows the danger of the working class being naive. It also directly critiques capitalism and socialism alike, showing the reader. Okay. Why did I do that? Okay. It also directly critiques capitalism and socialism alike, showing the reader the direct example of why both are bad. It also directly critiques capitalism and socialism alike, showing the reader the direct example of why both are bad. Capitalism is shown through the work of the animals being exploited by the humans, and socialism is shown through Capitalism is shown through the work of the animals being exploited by the humans, and socialism is shown through the classes that emerge once the animals take rule. Especially, that's not what it's supposed to say. Eventually, the book ends, showing the dangerous similarities between capitalism and socialism, or pig and man. Cut. That's it. That's paragraph 1. Aren't we glad? Okay. That brings us down the road to 1977, 34 years after the release of Animal Farm. A band named Pink Floyd released their album Animals. Just by the album cover, which features a pig flying through these dystopian smokestacks. That brings us down the road. That brings us down the road at 1977, 34 years after the release of Animal Farm. A band named Pink Floyd released an album called Animals. Just by the album cover, which features a pig flying through factory smokestacks, you can feel like the theme of the album. Animals was directly inspired by Animal Farm, but instead of telling the story of the Russians, Pink Floyd critiqued the political environment of the 1970s. The album is quite short, with only 5 songs, though long and lengthy, as one song is over 17 minutes long. The tracks, in order, go as Pigs on the Wing, 1. Insert snippet here. Dogs. Insert snippet. Pigs, 3 different ones. Sheep. And Pigs on the Wing 2. Listening to the album in order, you will be told a story that is still quite relevant today. Why do I keep leaning forward towards the camera? I'm like, listening to the album. Okay. That was the end of the 3rd paragraph. It went fairly fast. This one's a long one. Since both Animals and Animal Farm directly compare humans to animals, it's easy to find comparisons, especially as the ice maker's gonna go off. Yay. Is there even point in resuming filming? This is gonna go on for a while. Okay, I lied. I think we're good to continue filming wherever the camera's at. Where the fuck is the camera? Oh, over. What? We're on to paragraph 3 now. since both Animals and Animal Farm directly compare humans to animals, it's easy to find comparisons between the two. Especially as the animals from Animals are referenced in Animal Farm. Now, I'm going to go through each animal listed as one of the main tracks on Animals and compare it to its roles in Animal Farm. The first song on Animals, Pigs on the Wing 1, just introduces you to the story. It doesn't really begin until you reach the second track, Dogs. Coming in at 17 minutes and 4 seconds long, Dogs tells a story about muscled enforcers who are predatory, directly referencing the police and military. Animal Farm is nearly identical, as the dogs there represent secret police and military force that governments use to intimidate society. The next track is Pigs, 3 different ones. The pigs in this song represents the elite, wealthy upper class that can manipulate society. According to Pink Floyd's bassist Roger Waters, the 3 pigs referenced in the song represent real people. They represent British politician Margaret Thatcher, morality campaigner Mary Whitehouse, and U.S. President Gerald Ford. Okay. Hint for future editing. After you say each name, like Margaret Thatcher, Mary Whitehouse, Gerald Ford, go into the pig's song and insert snippets directly referencing them. Like, I know it's like, hey you old hag, hey you Whitehouse, and something about Mary. Remember that. Insert that after each of their names. Got it. Okay. Interesting enough, there are exactly 3 pigs in Animal Farm. That being Napoleon, Snowball, and Squealer, who represent Joseph Stalin, Leon Trotsky, and I can't pronounce this guy's name. I will put it right here. Vyacheslav Molotov? Maybe. Anyways, the next track on Animals is Sheep, who are the blind followers that are oblivious to their low status and they're constantly being exploited. That's actually really similar to Animal Farm, where the sheep are often seen as inferior animals, and they are brainwashed by the pigs to constantly spread propaganda. Now, the album closes out with Pigs on the Wing 2, which kind of concludes the story that you were just told throughout the album. Rock on! We got the first thing done. Now, we only have that to do. But there's people being loud in the hallways. Okay. Whew. The entire story that is told in Pink Floyd's Animals is about the sheep becoming aware, then killing the dogs. Wait, hold up. The entire story told in Pink Floyd's Animals is about the sheep becoming aware, rising up to kill the dogs, and leaving the pigs like defenseless and worthless to them as the sheep go off and retire and live out the rest of their lives in peace. This directly tells the story of capitalism, where the sheep, the working class, rise up against the pigs, greedy politicians, and overthrowing the forceful power of the dogs, the military. I'm content with that. You know what? I want to redo that. The entire story is about the sheep becoming aware, rising up to kill the dogs, and leaving the sheep... What? Okay. The entire story told in Pink Floyd's Animals is about the sheep becoming aware, rising up to... The entire story told in Pink Floyd's Animals is about the sheep rising up, killing the dogs, and leaving them greedy pigs defenseless, and honestly worthless to them, as the sheep go on to retire and live out the rest of their lives in peace. This tells the story of capitalism, where the sheep, which are the working class, rise up against the pigs. Greedy politicians. Let's start over. This tells the story of capitalism, where the sheep, the working class, rise up against the pigs, greedy politicians, and overthrow the forceful power of the dogs, the military. Okay. Now, Orwell's Animal Farm is actually quite similar. It tells the story of the animals, the working class, overthrowing the farmer, which is capitalism. Now, the pigs, which are the Russian leaders, take over. Capitalism is just overthrown. So now it's time for new leaders, the pigs, which are Russian leaders. The pigs spread propaganda, saying all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. That is a direct example of communism. Now the sheep, which are the blind followers, they're oblivious, and they help spread the propaganda. The other animals try to escape, but are kept in by the dogs. Military power. At the end, the pigs rule, despite claiming to be equal. That's socialism. The main ending shows there is no... The main ending shows that there is really no direct distinction between pig and man. As socialism is just as disgusting as capitalism. So, if you're interested in any stories describing political periods in history, I recommend George Orwell's Animal Farm and Pink Floyd's album Animals. One is one of my favorite authors. I would say George Orwell is my favorite author, actually. And the other is one of my all-time favorite bands, Pink Floyd. You can't go wrong with them. And who knows? You might read the book or listen to the album and discover a story that I haven't realized yet. You might notice political themes of your own. So read the book and rock on. Peace out. Okay. We filmed it. We did it. You did it. You did it.